My name is Edgar Gomez. I'm a learning development specialist with the Forum for Youth Investment. And today I'm here in partnership with the Michigan After School Partnership, or MASS for short. And you are here participating in the Michigan Out of School Most Standards training webinar. To start the webinar up, we're going to start with a warm-up activity. How do you take your quality? If you are on your own or with a team or a partner, take a moment to talk to each other. What standards or which quality standards do you currently use in your organization? And if you have time, feel free to answer the bonus question. What is your hot beverage of choice? You may pause the video now. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a good conversation with a person near you, or if not, you had a chance to look over your own organization standards. We're going to go ahead and move forward into our learning objectives. Participants will be able to become familiar with the most standards, understand the history and structure of the standards, practice navigating the most standards, and compare their own program practices with the most standards. For our agenda, we're currently in the welcoming and setting the stage. We're going to talk about what is quality, go over the most standards quality, go into an activity where we're going to get the most out of it, start taking it back, and finally, a closing and reflection. Some housekeeping to keep in mind: please utilize your digital resources or pen and paper, however you take notes best. Check your email or the video description for workshop documents and links. You will need them for this workshop. Do not explore the links until instructed to do so. Certain parts of the webinar, I will be asking you to open certain links. So when that time comes, keep those links or documents closed. And lastly, pay attention to the pause icon. You might notice them in some of the slides at the bottom left corner. That just means that after instructions, I will ask you to pause the video to do the activity. This is an interactive webinar, so there will be a lot of pausing and also a lot of opportunities to work on certain activities on your own or with a team. Now, for some group agreements or norms, learning is social. We will be learning from one another as a community. Learning is emotional. We honor the emotions that we bring into this space as we engage in learning. Learning is cognitive. We focus our attention and fully engage our minds. And we also recognize that in varying ways, life experiences, bias, racism, geography, cultural backgrounds, age, gender, etc. can affect our learning experiences today. If you are with a group, take a moment to ask yourself, what else do you need to be fully here, to be able to participate and take advantage of this learning environment? Now, let's go ahead and start our opening activity. What is quality? Before we go deep into the content, let's take a moment to think about quality. You may look around your space and identify an object that represents quality to you. After you identify the object, ask yourself or share with a partner, why does this object represent quality to you? Is it the material it's made from, the memories it holds, or something else? Feel free to pause the video to discuss. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a great conversation or had a chance to just look around your immediate space and think about what quality means to you. Now that we had a chance to think about quality, now we're going to go ahead and move forward into the most standards. Back in 2002, the Michigan State Board of Education adopted the first set of recommendations of a task force of integrating communities in schools and out-of-school programs. One of the task force recommendations was to develop and disseminate model standards for program offered during out-of-school time. And back in 2003, the Michigan State Board of Education adopted the first edition of the model standards for out-of-school time programs in Michigan, thus the most standards. And as you can see on the screen, Another thing that the most standards copy is that, or covers is that it aligns with other standards that you may be utilizing within your own program space already, such as the Early Childhood Standards of Quality Program and licensing rules for childcare centers and more. And something about the most standards that when you open up the document that shows the standards are separated in 7 critical components. And each of these components are then defined by 30 standards. And furthermore, these standards are even broken down even to more specific indicators. We believe there's about 139 different indicators. And as you open up the most standards document, you know, at the top of the screen, you notice, or top of the document, you notice that it is labeled with a critical component. There are 7 critical components, which start with health and physical safety, positive climate and emotional safety, program staffing, program environment, program activities, administration, and single purpose programs. And as you can see on the screen, these are then broken down into standards. Each critical component may have several standards, but as you can see on the screen under program environment, the first standard is the environment is establishing to provide a safe and clean and comfortable and developmentally appropriate setting for all children and youth. And you can see in B and C are other standards under this critical component. And if you want to break it down further, that is when we go into the indicators. The indicators, it helps break down the standards into more detailed information on what the standards are looking for. If you look on the screen under the standard A, indicator 3 and 4, they both mention identified spaces, but one focuses more on storage and the other on physical areas for different activities. Now, for the next part, take a moment to open up the link to fluidity.net link that you may have received in your email or is at the description of this video. Do not open a document to the most standards for this next part. Please feel free to pause the video to open up the link. Welcome back. You may have just opened the Fluidity webpage and saw something like this. Probably a little bit more scrambled. To simplify this next activity, on this webpage, you can move the boxes around. The boxes in color are the critical components. The rest of the boxes are the standards. It is your goal to organize the standards under the correct critical component. This activity should take about 10-15 minutes to complete. Feel free to pause the video to work on it on your own or with a group. Avoid using the most standards document. The purpose of this activity is to become more familiar with the standards. You may pause the video now. Welcome back. If you had a hard time organizing the standards, that is okay. The purpose of this workshop and this activity is to begin to familiarize yourself with the standards, not to become an expert right away. For the next part, you may pause the video and now open up the most standards link you have received your email or is in the description of this video. Take a couple moments to review your answers and think about these questions. What was difficult about organizing the standards? Did you make any connections on your own, in your own program? Or feel free to highlight any other aha moments or struggles that you came across while going through the most standards on your own or with a partner or team. When you finish reviewing the answers, you may continue with the rest of the video. Welcome back. So hopefully you had a chance to review your answers. And once again, if you struggle to organize them correctly in the last activity, that is okay. We're here to learn and just to be familiar of what we are trying to utilize within our programs. Now, for the next part, we're going to apply some of what we just did in terms of going through the most standards and understanding how they're organized and what they're asking from us. And we're going to start by doing this in our next activity into our scenarios. Now that we have a better understanding of what the most standards are and had the opportunity to go through the document, we're going to spend some time putting what we learned into practice. In your email or in the description of this video, You received a document or you have a link labeled the most scenarios. When you open the document, read each scenario, identify the issue in it, then connect it to the most standards by identifying the critical component, standard, and indicator the issue it correlates with. Then rewrite the scenario in order to correct the issue. It may pause the video to work on it. This activity may take 10 to 15 minutes. Feel free to work on this on your own or with a partner. Welcome back. Now that you have worked on the scenarios, you may open up the answer sheet you received in your email or is in the description of this video. The answer sheet will give the identified most standards, but will not have the scenarios rewritten. Pause the video to review. Welcome back. Now that you had the opportunity to learn more about the most scenarios, or the most standards as well, be familiar with the document and practice identifying issues. We're going to talk about bringing it back. On your own or with a group or partner, think about your own programs and identify 3 to 5 items or areas of focus from the most standards that you want to work on or highlight. Feel free to pause the video. Now that you had a chance to think about what you want to bring back to your organization, we made it to the end. If you're with a partner or a group, think about one word to describe how you feel about utilizing the most standards in your programs. And I want to thank you so much for taking time to watch this webinar and participating in all the activities. If you have any questions or would like to know more about the Michigan After School Partnership or the Forum for Youth Investment, you can go to our websites that are on the screen. One last thing I ask of you is that if you can fill out the evaluation survey to give us feedback on how this webinar went. You can open up the evaluation survey by scanning the QR code with your phone or clicking the link at the description of this video, or if you received the link in your email. Thank you and have a great day.